In this demonstration, I'm going to show you SCIM-based provisioning, nested group support using Okta. So I've got my user account here, Mark Ryan. I'm a member of a bunch of groups, domain admins, enterprise admins, and I've got a group here. ZIA disabled, doesn't actually matter what it's called, and it begins with the word internet ZIA disabled. Now I have this synchronized with Okta. So if I look in here for my user account, mryan@welshgeek.net, I find the right one. There I am. And you can see those groups are pulled through here. Here are all those groups. So that's fine. And I'm assigned an application called ZS Cloud. And that's assigned to everybody or everyone. If I look at this ZS Cloud application, again, it's assigned to a group called everyone. Provisioning, it's automatically going to push groups. What it's actually going to do is it's going to push these variables, these attributes, and the groups are pushed. These are all the groups, and I'm pushing the groups that by a rule called internet. So any group that begins with the name internet is pushed through to ZS Cloud. So let's flick across here. Here's my SAML configuration, SCIM-based provisioning. Here's my SCIM URLs, my bearer token and everything. So that's all set up nicely. And if we come across the user management, every user is being pushed across, and just the groups that exist in my directory that begin with the word internet. There are a couple of test ones here, but not all of my groups are pushed. And the concept that's just worth bearing in mind with this is groups are pushed, and then the users are pushed, and it says, okay, users are a member of these groups, and it'll only associate the groups that are pushed. So it's kind of it's not pushing the user and saying the user is a member of these groups. It's pushing a group and saying the users are in those groups. Slightly different concept. Fine. So what does this actually mean? So if I come across to, let me open Firefox and ip.zscaler.com. I'm actually going to log out. And I've got my SAML tracer over here. Let's go ahead and clear all the stored messages. Let's go to http www.bbc.co.uk. Because I'm not using a dedicated port or Zscaler app, I get prompted for this point, but we know we can make this transparent as the redirect by using a dedicated port or use a Zscaler client or coming from a known IP address. But we'll skip through that. Sign in. Hit Okta mryan@welshgeek.net. Again, this could be transparent from known locations using desktop SSO or Kerberos to an IIS server. So we sign in here, and I'm authenticated. Just to look at the SAML assertion, really all this is saying, it's sending a number of attributes because of the SAML configuration, but actually these are going to be ignored because SAML auto provisioning is disabled on the account. The only thing that is really matching is the name ID, which I'm failing at. There it is. There's my name ID. That matches me to the user. So these other attributes are largely ignored because auto provision is disabled because we're using SCIM. Okay. So I'm accessing the internet and everything. And if we look over here, mryan is in the group internet disabled. So, you know, we know that because it's being pushed by SCIM. If we refresh this page, that's all good. Internet disabled. So let's go ahead over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into my user account here. And I'm going to add the user to a group, and it's going to be called Group 1. Okay, and we'll apply that. And just to show you, Group 1 has me as a member. It is a member of Group 2. Group 2 is a member of Group 3, and Group 3 is a member of a group called Internet General. Internet General is also a member of a group called Internet. So we've got nested groups here. So let's go ahead and cancel all of those. Of course, those groups have already been pushed over to Zscaler using SCIM because of they matched the name Internet Star. So they all began with the word Internet. Let me just double check I actually saved that. Member of group 1. Yeah. Okay. So if I come over here now, and I could wait a timeout, but I'm impatient. I'm going to come over to provisioning, and I'm going to say force the sync now. And what it's going to do is going to force the user or force the synchronization of user parameters across to ZIA, and the user is in those groups. So it's not a forcing the groups to say which users are a member of it. It's forcing the user credential. What groups are they a member of? So if we come over here and we refresh this, we should expect it ever so slightly, provided that is actually completed. Might take a short second or two. We do need to, let's just check in here. Let's take it to people. Let's search for mryan at welskey.net. Groups. So you can see here now it's synchronized that I'm in group 1, group 2, group 3, but I'm now also in Internet General and Internet because that's the nested group support. So all of the nested groups are then synchronized, essentially let's use the term expanded into Okta. But because of the filter, we should only be sending this group and this group across to Zscaler during the sync. So let's come back over here to the application, ZS Cloud. Let's just double check if it actually did the provisioning. Force that sync again. May take a second or two to actually run the sync. Let's refresh this page. There we go. mryan is now in Internet CIA disabled, Internet General, and Internet, but it obviously didn't push the groups, Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3, because they don't match the filter. So what that means is that we don't need to necessarily worry about nested group support in Zscaler Internet Access. We certainly don't need to worry about it in terms of pulling all the groups over and letting Zscaler filter them. It is all a function of, number 1, the IDP, and number 2, the SCIM function of that IDP. And if you're using SAML auto provisioning, it can also do it there. So I think that explains it all. Thank you.